All right, today we're going to talk about definition of congruent polygons. These polygons here happen to be triangles, but this kind of works with any different shape that you have. All right, two polygons are congruent if and only if their corresponding parts are congruent. So we're going to talk about parts today as angles and as sides. So we have angles and sides. All right, so I'm going to give you this congruent statement. Triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. Now, the order doesn't matter. If I have ABC, A, B, and C, that means the first one over here corresponds with A. The second one is going to be a square again, a rectangle, and then the third one is a circle. So in this case, order matters. This means angle A is congruent to angle D, because A and D both come first. So in our picture, we can write A and D. Those are congruent. In the next one, the second term, B, or the second letter B, is congruent to E. So those are corresponding. So we have angle B is congruent to angle E. They both are in the middle. It's A, B, C, D, E, F. So B and E go together. So here we can put that these two are congruent. And then we are left with the final one, which is C and F. So we have angle C is congruent to angle F. And then we can put our marks on our little triangle. All right, so we did the angles. The angles are congruent. Now the other thing we can do, and we'll kind of put them up here, is do the sides. Okay? Every time I say A, I'm going to do D. So if we're talking about AC, then we can say AC is congruent, line segment, congruent. And instead of writing an A and a C, we can write a D and an F. So DF, line segment. Okay, so AC is congruent to DF. Now these pictures are nice and neat, so it's easy to see because they're rotated the same and they just look very easy. They get a little more complicated, so try when we get further that you got to pay attention to the congruent statement. This guy here. All right. So now we have AC and DF. Now we're going to do AB. AB. And I'm going to erase all this. AB is DE. Okay, you need to get that from your congruent statement, not from the picture. But now we can write AB is congruent to DE. Line segment on both of those. The next one we can do, all right, is BC. So I'm looking at BC. Now here we have a B, C. It's the second and third. Again, it's the second and third. So here we have a BC line segment is congruent to EF line segment. And then I can put those congruent marks there. So anytime we have polygons that are congruent, all of the corresponding parts are congruent. And that's angles and sides. All right, so make sure the order does matter on this. You can't just throw random letters in there. And we'll talk about that coming up. All right, so here's one that I want you guys to try. So go ahead and try to fill in these congruent marks. This is going to be your homework for tomorrow. All right, so use the first. Again, I'll show you angle X. I'll start it for you. Is congruent to angle Q. All right, notice how these triangles are not very easy to see. So make sure you go by the congruent statement. This is your homework for tomorrow. You need to turn this in. That way I can tell that you watch the videos. All right, now we're going to go backwards. We are going to write a congruent statement. All right, so we have a picture and we need to decide if they are congruent. So what I'm going to do, this one is not too complicated, just because it's a four-sided figure. The triangles tend to mess us up a lot. Here we go. We're going to write a congruent statement. I'm going to look at F. All right, so I'm going to put F. And F corresponds with V. So we're going to correspond with V. Now I'm going to look at E. E has two congruence marks on the angle E, and so does T. So E goes with T. E goes with T. The next one, all right, these are congruent. The next one H has three congruence marks. The one with three congruence marks here is U. And the last one is G. This is H. This is G. So we have B. Let me change that to capital T, U. And then we're going to be with W here. Now notice that these go in order. It is F. We go E, H, G. Same thing with the other one. B, T, U, W. All right, so this is a congruent statement at the bottom. These can be out of order, a different order, but yet they have to be in the same F, E, H, G. For instance, let me give you another example. All right, you could do H, G, F, E is congruent, and then do U, W, V, T. So the order can change, but they still need to stay in the same, I guess the position can change, but they need to stay in the same order. All right, so don't forget your homework is writing the congruent statements for those triangles that you guys saw here. You need to fill in all the angles and all the sides.